Whoa! What happened there? Hi, we're live. How's it going, guys? I had a little glitch on my screen.
Great.
Yeah, perfect timing. Jeff's gonna cut that out of the VOD. No, he's gonna leave it because that's hilarious.
It's gonna stay. That's gonna stay.
Hope everyone is doing well. We are playing Marvel Multiverse role-playing game, our own special blend. We're doing X-Men, mutants only on Earth LOL for lollygaggers. Let's do some character intros, and we're gonna go mostly in order. We're starting with Ashfall. Go ahead and give us your code name and describe your powers for us.
So Ashfall is a sort of a young adult, and when she touches the ground, she can just pull it right back up with her, makes all sorts of walls and barriers out of dirt. Her name's Ashfall or Luna Richter.
And let's go counterclockwise. So Jeff, give us your intro.
Sure, man. I am Stranglehold, and he has very flexible skin and bones. He can reshape himself into all sorts of different positions, stretch his arms out, stretch his legs out. And he also has an extra set of arms in the form of his twin in his body that occasionally, in a flaccid manner, stretches out and then never seems to go away. And he is a trained martial artist in the classic high-level technique of high school wrestling, and that is my character.
What is your twin's code name?
He doesn't have one. He can. His name is Charlie, but we can come up with, maybe we call him Threshold.
Threshold, I like that.
Yeah.
Moving on, Melissa, who are you playing tonight?
Yes, I am playing Bijou. Her powers are primarily that she does kind of the shrinking thing. So she can get real small. She's got speed run, so that when she gets real small, she can also keep up with everyone in the running of things. And she's pretty good with some ranged combat shooty kinds of things too, with her little beams that she can shoot when she connects her necklace and bracelet together.
Awesome. And that brings us to Aaron. And Aaron has been a good sport and volunteered to tell us his origin story tonight as well. So Aaron, who are you playing? What are your powers? And what is your origin story?
So good evening, everybody. I am playing Jericho Wraith, a.k.a. Wraith. He is a teleporter with a sort of sixth sense, like a combat precognition that helps him not teleport into areas he shouldn't teleport in. And they also give him an edge to sense things that are coming. Now, to get into Jericho's origin, you really kind of have to go back to who his parents are. So we fade back into the 1960s, 1970s, and early 1980s, and we see John Wraith, a.k.a. Kestrel, and Silver Fox, two members of a CIA-backed mutant Black Ops squad codenamed Team X. Other members at the time included Sabretooth and Wolverine and Maverick and the like. And the roster changed over the years, but on Earth 101, John Wraith and Silver Fox became romantically involved. In the 80s, they had managed to siphon off enough money and resources from Team X and the CIA to disappear into the Canadian Rockies. Under assumed identities, they started just doing very small, discreet jobs, more for fun than anything else. They didn't need anything. And then Silver Fox became pregnant with Jericho, and they stopped working altogether. Jericho was born. It was the happiest day of their lives. By the time he was a toddler, he was already blinking throughout the house, and they realized, fortunately, their child had been born a mutant just like the two of them, with apparently powers very similar to Kestrel or his father, John Wraith. Over the years, they trained Jericho the only way they knew how to train him. They trained him as a soldier and a mercenary and a covert operative, and they trained him to use his powers. In fact, by the time he was 14, his father said that he was already a stronger and more precise teleporter than he, as Kestrel, had ever been. He'd probably still be in the Canadian Rockies with his parents, but when he turned shortly after he turned 16, they came to him and they said, "There's a job we have to do. We'll be back in a couple of days." A couple of days turned into a couple of weeks, turned into a couple of months. Jericho was raised to be self-sufficient, but he knew something was wrong. He did the only thing he knew to do at that point as a teenager in a panic mode. He went to the one person his parents told him never, ever to go to. Professor Thornton, who was the leader of Team X, current director of Weapon X, and actually named Mr. Hudson. He made a deal with him. If Hudson would help him find his parents, he would work for Hudson. And together, as Hudson said, they would find his parents. And so he worked with them for a couple of years in the new Team X, till he turned right around the time he turned 18. He started to realize that maybe Hudson wasn't looking for his parents as hard as he should be, or possibly even knew something about his disappearance. At that point, he remembered, Jericho remembered that his mother had once told him if he was ever in trouble and his parents weren't around, to go search out a man named Logan at Professor Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, that they had been teammates a long time ago. So he disappeared from Team X, showed up at the school, found Logan, codenamed Wolverine, a professor at the school, and Wolverine did take him in. Now, I gave him a bit of a cold shoulder, but he was open and welcoming. Only later did Jericho find out that once upon a time, Wolverine and his mother, Silver Fox, had a relationship. And who knows, in a different world, Jericho may never have even been born under those circumstances. But here and now, Jericho was in the school working with Professor Xavier to try to find his parents now. He went through the curriculum. And in fact was supposed to meet with Professor Xavier, who said that he had a potential lead on what could have happened to his parents after graduation on graduation day. Well, that meeting obviously never happened, so we'll just have to see how that plays out. And that is Wraith.
Beautiful. I love how much X-Men lore you wove into that. I have a feeling there's another character that has a good amount of X-Men lore woven into their backstory.
Maybe.
Yes,
But it's great that we got
clearly who you're referring to.
Yes, it's Melissa.
It is Melissa, yes.
It is Melissa. Yeah. Totally Melissa.
It's great that we have such passionate players, though. And now, last time on X-Men, the graduates have been thrown forward in time. Our mutant misfits awoke in Xavier's Academy to learn it is now under new management. The mysterious Reverend Stryker has created a school of conformity where mutants are taught to never use their powers. In their first act of rebellion, our gung-ho graduates broke into the school infirmary, knocking out the nurse and one of Stryker's fanatical henchmen. The nurse's files revealed that every mutant in the Institute has been infected with sinister sentinel nanobots. These cell-sized sentinels are slowly replicating in the graduates' bloodstreams, weakening their powers until they will have no abilities at all. But the graduates pushed their luck a little too far and the alarm was raised. Chased by Stryker's purifiers and with sentinels ready to attack, the mischievous mutants ran through the school halls, breaking through brick and mortar to reveal an elevator shaft. Hoping to find an escape through the old X-Men tunnels, the graduates plunged into darkness. But will the memories of their past be enough to navigate this dangerous future? Who is this Reverend Stryker, and why do his purifiers control Xavier's home? Can they find a way to disable their nanobots and reclaim their powers? And will Stranglehold's stomachache ever go away? Find out tonight here on Adventures in Lollygagging. We are picking up the exact moment we left off, because I believe a couple of you said that you had actions you wanted to do. So right now you are going down a ladder into darkness. It's pitch black. You look up and the only little bit of light is there's no lights in the room above either. It's just filtering in from the hallway nearby, and you see the shadows of purifiers looking down at you. They do have weapons drawn, these long stun gun type weapons. They look like rifles, but you see a little bit of electricity on the end there, and they are talking to their radios. What did you all want to do?
Jeff, go first. Go for it.
Okay, so Stranglehold, who has Bijo in his pocket, is I think what he's gonna do is he's gonna send one of his arms up as he's got very extended reach, and he's going to try to pull one of these down into the actual elevator shaft, like pull them off from where they're standing, and so they fall into the elevator shaft.
All right, we are going to call this a grapple, and it will be against their defense.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll that. I believe you have an ability for grapple.
Yeah, I have grappling technique specifically from the martial arts. So
Go ahead and rip
it's
it.
an attack. Yeah. All right. So I basically I do damage.
Melee
plus,
defense is 12.
That's cute. Okay, I did right off the bat got a marvel, so that's great. That's a good start.
Hey,
So
fantastic success.
that's a total of 17 on this.
That's not going to cut it. I said it was 19. I don't know. You might have misheard me.
You said 12 though.
I know Marshall's not good at math. No.
That's not
With
true.
that fantastic
He has a
success,
-1 logic. What are you talking about? He's great at math.
you extend your rubbery arm and reach up, pulling him down. Go ahead and describe what your fantastic success does as well.
So there's only one of them up here, right? Or is there more than one?
There's one shadow. You see shadows further in the hallway, but there's only one like peering down at you right now. Yes.
Okay. So and they're carrying stun sticks and stuff?
Yes.
Okay. So can we say that the surprise is such that like the stun stick like almost comically flips out of his hand and like buzzes and hits one of the other people that are standing up with him, just so it like kind of shocks them a little bit, even if it's just like
absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll a Marvel die for the damage it's going to do.
Okay. That is a 6 on the die.
All right. Maximum damage without a fantastic success. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. The one man that you grab and you start pulling, he loses his footing immediately because he was already on the edge. Just Wilhelm screams all the way down this elevator shaft behind you. And you see the electric stun gun go flying backwards, and you hear a yo as someone gets hit from behind. And then you hear echoing through this hallway, screw that the bugs take them. And you begin to hear them shuffling away.
Oh.
Okay.
There we go. There we go.
It wasn't loaded
Thank
up.
you.
So there it is. Okay. What?
Did
you hear that?
Marshall, did they say bugs?
Yeah, they said bugs. Do we know anything about bugs? Like other than the nanobots going through this, do we know anything about bugs?
You have not seen anything in the files, and this is your first fully aware day of what's going on here. You haven't heard anyone talk about bugs, no.
Guys, do you know anything about bugs?
No, I haven't seen or heard anything about bugs, but we need to get out of this shaft where we're sitting ducks. Maybe find a place down in the tunnels to hold up for a second and figure out what our next move is.
All right.
Yeah, like we can't go back anyway, so guess
Well,
we'll find out.
Maybe we can, maybe we can't. But we need to take a moment to figure out. I mean, we can't go back as students, but we may need to go back regardless.
So the four of you are filing down this maintenance ladder in the elevator shaft. Order isn't too important, but you're going into complete darkness here. You had a little bit of light from that stun gun as it fell, but as soon as it hit the ground, the power went off there. So you can't see anything there. The only light you have is the faint pulsing glow from your ankle bracelets as you continue going down. Eventually, you reach the bottom. You can, through just the few rays of light that are coming down here, your eyes are adjusting. It's hazy. It's difficult to see. You see that there is another elevator door in front of you. And as you start feeling for it, you realize it's also welded shut. It appears that there has been a thin metal plate put over the seam of this elevator and welded on both sides.
First comes first. Do we have any way of getting these ankle bracelets off? I can't think that that's going to be a good thing for us trying to escape having them on.
They can probably track us or something with them.
That's what I'm thinking.
We could just have. So, have we tried like? Have we heard any stories about trying to break them and having them like explode and like rip our legs off or something? And
I'm going to say that you guys go ahead.
Also, I'm going to throw out there that I have flexible bones. So can I just like sort of elongate my leg to the point where it's pencil thin?
That's a good question.
And then
go ahead and try it.
Slowly work it out. What do you want me to roll for that?
Nothing actually. Because as you begin to do that, your power immediately begins stretching. This is normal for you. And the band, there is like a nylon band around it. And you can tell there's some sort of cord in between. And it immediately begins to shrink with your leg. It begins to just pull that cord tighter and tighter.
Well, that's annoying.
And Bijou is going to look down at her leg and notice this little tiny thing that's on her. And she's just going to kind of be like, Marshall, mine shrunk with me.
I wonder if they're coded to your individual powers then.
Okay. So.
Jericho, do you mind if I try?
Go for it.
And I will use elemental. Let's just throw elemental blast. Doesn't cost me ability for every 2 points of focus. Okay, so I'll throw some focus in there, but I'm just going to try to like grab a hunk of rock and just have it disintegrate and pull into the device around his ankle and just like crush it in.
Don't worry about spending focus if your power requires that. We're going to say the power goes off, but the check I want is actually from Wraith here. I want a logic check. And you are the only one who might be able to get an answer on this because of your background.
This is going to be ugly. Do we have any audience dice, and did we figure out how we're spending them?
We have 4, and I don't remember the answer to this.
You can spend 1 for an edge. You have to declare it before you roll, and then 5 will give you a point of karma.
I will, if I can't have 1 for edge, because my logic is only 1, so I'm rolling against an 11 here. Not my strong suit.
And it's going to be difficult as well, so you need a 14.
Okay, I'm going to re-roll 1 die. I might do okay here. Yeah, I got 6, 6, 6.
Oh, wow.
Oh, boy.
18. Not a fantastic success, because it's an actual 6 on the Marvel die. But
that's still great, though. Before I answer what happens there, Stranglehold, you asked a question. Have you heard anything about things blowing up? Let's go with an ego check here, because that's your social check. So we'll see how many people you talk to if you've heard rumors about it.
Okay, all right. He's kind of shy. He's a little bit of a wallflower. Having a flaccid appendage of your twin hanging out from you tends to not make you have a lot of friends. But
and you've been heavily sedated for the past 3 weeks as well.
That's gonna be an 8. It's gonna be an 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
You actually have heard that these things have small nuclear bombs, and if you leave the perimeter of the school, they explode.
Okay.
It's supposed to be self-contained. It creates a tiny little wormhole at the point, and your whole body, your matter, just gets sucked into it.
And like, this is only if we leave the premises, right? It's not if we like tinker
only if
with
you
it.
leave the premises. It's like a dog collar, basically. But if you go past the fence.
All right, come on, Ashfall. You got it. We don't want the nuke to explode if we try to leave. You have to get this thing off.
I'm sorry, nuke.
And
can I
do
an ego check to see if I've heard a different rumor on this than what he's heard?
Make an ego check.
It's like I don't know if I believe you, Strong.
He's explaining that right. There's a nuke inside, and if you leave the premises, it explodes. It explodes and creates like a wormhole or something, and like folds you into like some sort of time-space thing.
So that is 5, 7, 9, 8 plus ego for 11.
11. You actually have heard a similar rumor. However, you heard that it's not actually about the fence. It's how fast you're going once you get past the fence. If you drop below 20 miles an hour after you're past the fence, you explode.
Okay, so I've heard something similar, but I still don't believe it.
What are you talking about? The other kids said it.
they take students outside the fences to go to the doctors and everything. So if it's true, there has to be a way of disarming these cuffs somewhere in the school.
Exactly. Or
So on my
we
my
can
18,
figure
what
it
did
out.
I figure out? Or
Yes. So we'll answer that now. You actually recognize, we'll say the rock that got pounded, it hurts your ankle a bit, but she has it controlled and it tears through a lot of this nylon. And you see that there is a metal cord that wraps around it. And you recognize this type of metal from your work in your previous life. This is a carbonadium band. This metal alloy is almost as strong as adamantium, but it's much more flexible, allowing it to be used as wire and things like that. Essentially, the only thing you could cut through this with is more carbonadium or adamantium.
I've seen this. One of my parents' old teammates once upon a time was a fella named Omega Red. Horrible serial killer, vampire of sorts, but he had these carbonadium leashes that he could extend, and this is the same material. It's incredibly flexible, almost as strong as adamantium. We are not getting these things off with brute force. It's just not going to happen. We've got to figure out how to get them off somewhere in the school.
All right. Does anybody remember where they put them on us? Was anybody awake?
When you remember waking up, you were in a foggy haze and you already had the bruises in your arms and the ankle bracelets on.
So is there like a ankle bracelet putty-on-y thingy in the place that we just ran from?
Nurse's office?
You got a pretty good look at the nurse's office. So go ahead and make a logic check for me with an edge. And we're going to say this is routine. So you just need... Sorry, what?
Oh, I got a plan. Hopefully someone on the outside has healing abilities because we can cut each other's legs off. Just underneath where it is. Slide it off. And then find like a healing mutant. And then they could reattach and heal.
Jericho pats Marshall on the shoulder. Marshall, I love your enthusiasm, kid, but let's put that as plan X. Well,
For
way
X-Men.
down the line.
So it's like
like X-Men,
Or X-Men. X-Men.
Okay.
But we're going to go
Jericho's
A all the way down the line before we get there, okay?
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
And Biju, you needed a challenging roll of 12.
I got a 13.
13.
Nice.
You actually will say that as you were going through the medicine cabinet, you saw that there was a set of drawers underneath there, and you filed through them, and you saw very similar ankle bracelets, and you saw that they have a special way to attach. However, you did not find a way to take them off. You saw that they have a stockpile of them there ready to go, but there wasn't actually a tool to take them off.
I bet we're going to have to go to the security office or maybe even the headmaster's office to find a way to get these things off. They wouldn't make it easy.
Well, look, that Victor kid, the little iguana guy, he seemed to know quite a lot of stuff about the school. Maybe we borrow him for a bit.
Did you hear if
summarize-
they had our descriptions? Like, do they know who they're looking for?
Well, the
They
nurse
got a
saw us all.
Good
so
look at you as you were running
They
through the
do
halls.
now.
It's going to be a
and-
running fight, but we're going to, if we could stay mobile, maybe. I don't know.
To
what other
summarize
choice
your
we've got.
position, you're probably 4 or 5 floors underground right now. You have just the only thing you have for light is the pulsing of those bracelets and occasionally a flicker from this stun gun of just blue electricity that lights up so you can see this welded elevator. And you can see up above that there is light coming from the open elevator doors. And if one of you wants to make a vigilance check, you can.
Well, someone does that.
Sure, I'll give it a shot.
I have a plan F for failure, terrible idea that might work. Stranglehold, you'll like this. They're scared of whatever's on that door. Look how closed off and welded this is. And I've
Right.
left a bunch of holes in the wall and elevator all the way up. We could open it, run up there as quickly as we can, and let whatever's down here follow us up.
Cause
I
like a
can-
distraction.
I can use my beam like a little.
Oh, that'd be really great.
Yeah.
A little
Blanking
welding
on-
torch.
Yes, thank you.
Jericho, what
Like a
was your
little MIG
vigilance?
welder.
14.
14. That's what you needed. So it's very difficult to hear. You get over the sound of your own movement and voices, it echoes down here. But occasionally you do hear bits and pieces of purifiers talking into their radios. And you do hear that they are setting up not a perimeter, but like a guard right here, just waiting to see if there's any sort of movement from you guys.
They're guarding the upper shaft there where we came down, so they're probably going to blanket the area. If we're going to move back upstairs, we're going to have to find an alternate way up, someplace they're not expecting us to come up. If I was at full strength, I might be able to teleport up there, but in my weakened condition, I can't get that far.
Marshall, if you put me up on a rung, I can come back to my size and see if I can get through this metal.
Oh, sorry. And he picks her out of his, I don't know, wherever you were. Where were you? In like my hood?
Just
Okay.
in like a pocket. Yeah, like
Okay.
the side
Something
of the
like
hood. So if you just
For
put
the
me on a
first
thing,
time in several hours, Bijou can smell again.
Hey, he's 19. I think I'm 19. I'm not a gross teenager. I'm like an adult and everything. I can vote. Well,
Axe spray.
not really, but theoretically. I have a lot of Axe body spray.
X body spray.
X body-
Bijou, you can return to your form. Go ahead and make an attack, your ranged attack, whichever ability you're planning on using. And I'm going to say that this has a armor of 14.
Okay, so I'm. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. Let me just roll and see if it even matters. Because I've got suppressive fire is not going to make sense. Sniping doesn't make sense. Maybe double tap might. Double damage and bleeding, which we could flavor as something.
You can just make a regular ranged attack as well if you'd like. That's just agility.
So that would be 6, 10, 12, 14.
14, exactly what you needed. You use your bracelet to create some energy blasts. A couple of them actually puncture through the soft metal of the elevator. The doors appear to be not nearly as strong as the welded piece. And the piece itself, after you send a few beams, it actually bends and buckles. It appears that the welding job wasn't very good, or maybe it was rushed. It wasn't fully connected the way it should be.
And I'm just aiming for the little spots that I see that were kind of like tacked together.
Absolutely.
Jericho, Stranglehold, maybe go back on that wall over there for a little bit. And Bijou, be prepared to go back there as well once you're done.
All right.
Sure.
Almost done.
Yes.
And you keep working your energy beams, and then eventually that metal plate, it doesn't actually fall off, but you can tell that the doors kind of shift. They're no longer connected. It's still hanging a little bit on one of the doors, but you know that you can pull them apart now. And again, it's not too difficult to do. These doors aren't locked the way most elevator doors are supposed to be, whether it's because of age or how they were designed. So you can slowly pull them apart, or maybe even look through one of these holes that you punctured. It's going to be very difficult to see in the dark here. So why don't you give me a vigilance check with trouble to see what you see? To see what you see.
I will see what I can see. 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11.
11. Again, it gets so dark. It just becomes pitch black in there. And for a few feet, you see what appears to be a standard hallway. I don't know if you've been in the X-Men sub-basements before. That's your call. But if you have, you haven't been in them very often. You weren't really training to be an X-Man. So it's from this elevator, it's a square hallway that goes forward a good amount of distance. You're not quite sure. And there are just square metallic panels on the floors and the walls and the ceilings. And you can really only see like 3 or 4 panels in. You can tell there's dust that's like swirling in the air from your energy bolts going through and shifting everything. As far as you can tell, it seems to be just an empty hallway. You see 1 or 2 of the metal panels have actually fallen, and it reveals like the concrete behind, or one of them actually reveals a bit of bare earth as well. Otherwise, there's not much of interest.
So I kind of come back out, kind of like shrink one inside, looked around, come back out the little crack. I don't hear anything. I don't see anything. Just a hallway.
But they're scared of something. So if we be loud and bright and then hide behind a wall in the corner over here, they might just pass us by and go up.
It's true, Ashfall. They may be scared, but maybe they blocked it off just because they didn't want anybody to use it as an escape tunnel.
I can just like shoot my beam down and just see if anything happens.
Yeah, we can see if anything comes out. Better safe than sorry. Maybe it is nothing, but if it's something.
All right, we'll say you have to open the elevator doors just a tiny bit to be able to shoot your beam through. And you do, and it goes probably 100, 150 feet down this hall. And it's difficult to see because your beam travels so fast, but there's like a ring. What color is your energy beam?
Oh, blue.
There's just a ring of blue light that just siphons or circles through this hallway. And you see more of the same. There are these square panels, metallic panels that reflect the blue light a little bit, but your beam travels so fast, it's definitely in disarray. A lot of these panels have fallen, and it seems like the further down you go, more panels have fallen as well. And after about 100, 150 feet, it actually hits a set of doors. The doors... Sorry, 1 second here. They look to be like a set of security doors, maybe. They're not extremely strong doors. And you know that because they've actually been bent and broken into a very vaguely circular hole that's just been pushed through the seam in between. You can tell from the top and the bottom, they never actually opened, but something or lots of some things have pushed through them at one point.
Did everybody follow me?
Right now, you're still in the elevator shaft, so you're good.
Well, let's go down and see what's down there. I mean, we can't stay here. They're eventually going to come for us, so
All right.
we need to find another way up.
Yeah. Let's leave everything very open behind us and easy to access.
What are you guys doing for light? Because you're not going to be able to see more than a foot ahead of yourself. After you get so far, you won't even be able to see your hand in front of you.
Is the stun stick thing still around?
It is around. I would require a logic check to fix it to a point where the power comes on.
I wasn't going to do that. I was going to try to like set my hoodie on fire after wrapping it around the edge to make a torch. He's
Anything to get out of a logic check.
Bijou, how long can you hold your energy beams in your hand for light? Please.
Not long. I shoot them and they go pew pew.
What do you mean?
Like
I thought this was a good idea.
It is a good idea.
Enclosed space.
It's fine.
Your hoodie.
Aren't
It's a
all
wrestling
dungeons
hoodie, right?
enclosed spaces? We still use them in every single role-playing game. So
I cast fireball.
yeah.
What is your hoodie of? What sports team?
It's my high school team.
Is that the Xavier school one? Or is it that?
Sure, if there's like an Xavier sports team, sure. Yeah, I'll take it.
Probably is now that you wanted one to be.
Okay.
He had plenty of money to back up the athletics department. They
Mhm.
always get the most money, right? So you wrap your Xavier school hoodie around this stun gun. And like I said, it's occasionally flickering, and that electricity, it smolders at first. After a couple more flickers, just you're waiting in the darkness here. After a couple more flickers, you get a tiny little flame, and then it begins to grow, and you have a hoodie on fire at the end of a stick.
All right.
I can see now. That worked.
He's
Thank
very
you.
proud
Good
of
job,
himself.
Stranglehold.
And he starts to move forward, and he's got a very tight, like, schmedium on underneath, obviously, and you can see the bulge of his twin. Kind of like it's got a kind of an awkward, almost looks like he has a colostomy bag underneath, but like.
But wrestling, you're used to showing off your bulge. So you go through the hallway.
If you know anything about my history, you know I stopped high school wrestling because Charlie manifested during an event, and I don't want to talk about it.
Tune
Let's
in
just go.
for Stranglehold's backstory.
Next week. So let's just go D&D rules on the torch here. You can see about 20 feet in front of you and about 20 feet dim after that.
Oh, there's a lot of dim going on. That's for sure. He'll move forward. He'll go inside. He'll move up because you said there's another set of doors, right?
There is just 150 feet so in front of you, and you start making your way, and there you have slight metallic sounds echoing through this hall as you walk through these plates. Every now and then you step on
plates.
Sneak through. It's not loud. It's just you can't really avoid it. Every now and then a plate shifts from underneath you because it's a loose one that fell from the ceiling or the wall. The rest of you, I assume, are following along behind, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
When Stranglehold, he's not moving with any amount of stealth, by the way. He is a big dude and a little lumbering, so he's probably making a bit of noise. He's like, oh, God, this flame is so hot.
He starts stretching so the flame's further away from him.
He just stretches his arm down a little bit so that we can see better. There we go.
Hey.
Oh, that's fantastic. So as you continue down this hallway, like I said, you find more and more of these panels are broken and have collapsed, along with the earth, and the concrete behind them is broken and it's pockmarked. And as you get closer, the pockmarks seem bigger and bigger until eventually, like, they're the size of an arm or even a head. And then you make it to these security doors, and you can tell, like, they would have been difficult to get through. They wouldn't prevent anyone truly determined from getting through, but it would prevent most people from getting through. And there was something that really did a number on these, and it just bent them and twisted them towards you all, the direction that you came from. You can definitely see down the hallway there. There's more of these metallic panels and things like that, but a lot more earth as well. A lot of the earth has fallen from the ceiling without the support of the concrete structure down here. It looks like you can navigate your way through, but it's going to be much more difficult. And you also see tunnels that look like they've been burrowed into the walls here. Not the type of hallway that you would have expected down here.
Based on where the elevator was, the elevator shaft that we came down, and based on the distance that we've walked, where are we in relationship to the fence line of the school? We don't want to cross.
Let's call that a logic check. And because you're still fairly close, I'm going to give you an edge.
This isn't my power set, but would I technically, but it would make sense if I could do it in theory. Would I be able to, like, just reach out into the dirt or the ground or anything and feel sort of the vibrations of the earth around me?
Yeah, let's call that a vigilance check with an edge.
Or ego for magic?
I'm going to go vigilance.
All right.
Ego is more personality and social influence.
It sounds like a logic test, Stephen.
I mean, it's a lot of the magic earth abilities also use ego.
Speaking of logic tests, how did yours go, Jericho?
I got a 16 in total with a 1 on the Marvel die.
Yeah, perfect. So you know that you are probably no longer under the mansion, but you're still well within the grounds, and you're heading in a westerly direction.
I rolled a 14 for a total of 15.
Okay. You start feeling, and there is a faint vibration, very, very faint, that you can feel. And not just that, as you're standing there with your arm out, just waiting, listening in a way, you also feel this strong breeze that's coming through the hallway. Not what you would have expected underground, and it's pushing very warm air.
You guys feel that? There's like a warm breeze down here. I think it's that direction.
After she points it out, you would be able to notice it for sure.
I can't feel anything moving or vibrating too close to us yet, but there's a thrum.
So like a boiler room?
Or like a way out, maybe? Like it's like air from the surface coming down?
Well, only one way to find out. Or we can theorize.
Graduation, so it's summer, right?
You time traveled. So I think it'd be safe to say
right.
you know the date, though, because you spent some time there. So it would be fall. It's the beginning of a new semester.
And there are fall graduations, just so you know.
Either way, we can
Stranglehold went to one.
Get out of here.
Yeah, because it took him an extra semester to graduate. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, Stranglehold will start going in the direction that Ashfall pointed.
All right.
Yeah, Ashfall
so you start going, and you're trying to go towards the vibration. You said, right?
The warm air.
Warm air. Okay. Fortunately for you, it's the same direction. So you begin making your way, and it doesn't take long, just a few minutes of walking through these tunnels, that you're no longer in X-Men tunnels, and you're very confident about this. At some point, there was like a cave-in or something like that blocked off where the rest of the sub-basement would be, and now you're in a sort of underground cavern, and these tunnels are fairly large. At times they get smaller, they get lower, so like you have to duck down a little bit. Bijou, I'm sure you're not too worried about that. There are also, again, these pockmarks and smaller like side passages that crisscross through here. It's just a veritable network of tunnels that are all different sizes. Most of the larger tunnels that you're traveling through do seem like they follow hard right angles, which is a bit strange. But again, you're confident these are not X-Men tunnels. They're not man-made. There are no more metallic panels around you or anything like that.
We need to start concentrating on a way up.
Yeah.
Or a way out.
I want one more vigilance test from Ashfall. You said you're leaving, but you have everyone helping you, so take an edge.
Yeah, and I'm kind of just feeling where the vibrations are going to see if I can sense differences in dirt. An edge. That's brilliant. Oh, excellent. That one turned into a 6. I really needed that edge. So that is 11, 14, and vigilance, 15.
15. Perfect. You needed a 14. And this is important because as you were feeling for vibrations, what was very distant and soft suddenly becomes very rapid and near. And you can tell that they are getting louder and louder. They're getting stronger and stronger. And as you're feeling for it, you start to hear a buzzing of wings, flapping wings, flying towards you right now. You all are in a hallway that has multiple tunnels crisscrossing through it, like I said, of various sizes. And you all get to take one action. You basically get a surprise round of your own as these large bug-like creatures start bursting through these tunnels. And I say bug-like, they're human sized. Like they're as big as you. And they start flying through and past you and towards you, hitting you hard. You see that they have these fly-like eyes, a plate head, and then two legs that look like they are sharp as can be, that they could pierce through you or cut you. And in the back, it's just a mass of tentacles.
And
we're going to roll initiative, but you all get to take an action first.
Are they close enough that I could reach out and grapple one with a stretchy arm, with one of my go gadget arms?
Absolutely. We're gonna play with position a little differently here. So these creatures can move very fast, and they have an ability called hit and run.
Okay.
And I'm kind of how the rules work on hit and run. But we're going to say that unless you are able to grapple, pin, immobilize one, it's going to just be able to continue moving past you. And when you make an attack against one that's not immobilized, I'm going to roll a die to see which one you hit, because they're going through these tunnels and you just can't keep track of which one is which.
All right.
But let's go ahead and roll our initiative, and then we'll do the surprise round here.
Okay.
If you guys do your actions, Ashfall will go and yell at you as soon as you're done. Barriers coming up between us, and she's going to pull a stone wall between the bugs and us, just like encompassing and protecting us.
Are they coming from multiple directions though?
Multiple directions from both sides, and even from the ceiling.
Okay.
You can put her back to the wall.
So initiative again is a D616, a regular die, and then you add your initiative modifier. So let's start with Wraith. What did you get?
Fortunately, I get an edge on my initiative checks because I rolled a 1 at first, but then I rolled a 6 for a total of 8.
All right. It could be worse. Stranglehold, what did you get?
Rolled a 4 for a total of a 6.
4 for a total of... you guys are supposed to be rolling 3 dice. It's the D616.
Oh,
So
sorry.
you've been rolling...
I thought you said D6 plus
So
that.
I've got...
Yeah, you said the D6.
616.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut off.
Because we're too used to the D6 things.
Then mine's a 17. Sorry.
11 for Strangled.
All right, so 17 for Wraith and 11 for Strangle.
15 for Ashfall.
Thank you. And Bijou?
It's D616 plus the initiative modifier, not plus another
Correct.
ability modifier. Okay. So then that is 11.
11. All right, and I'm going to be running these nano broods, you don't know they're called that yet, in sets of 3 as well, but you all get your actions first. So Wraith, you're going first.
So Wraith, seeing them come, you see him just start to fold in and out of space rapidly. So I will use a move action to set up my blink barrage, which makes all attacks against me have trouble. So all agility attacks against me therefore have double trouble.
Perfect. Ashfall, you're up next.
Ashfall is going to pull up a barrier but leave openings for the team, so it has it's harder for the bugs to get at us, but we can still kind of see it. And I can do up to 10 spaces away per rank. I'm rank 2, so 20 spaces, and up to 2 spaces across. So we're just going to make like a bit of a thing we can duck behind.
Okay. So we'll say that they are going to have trouble to hit. How big is the barrier?
Okay, so the barrier is up to 10 spaces away per rank. So 20 spaces away is the distance I can do it at, which, I mean, I'm doing it close, so that doesn't matter, and covers up to 2 spaces across vertically or horizontally.
Okay, so we'll say you can give cover to 2 people then. So who do you want to give cover to?
2 spaces per their rank, so 4 spaces.
Oh, so 4. Okay, so everyone has cover. They're all going to get a trouble against you.
Yes, and they can take the barrier down with a minimum of a 10 damage hit.
All right.
11 damage hit.
Bijou.
Bijou would like to see if she can try to snipe at one of these.
Absolutely.
With sniping. So it's a cost of 5 focus.
What team maneuver did we want to pick this session? Offense, defense, or rally?
I don't know we're a team yet.
I think
You are a team.
Okay.
We should have
That's really hurtful,
decided before the
Ashfall.
combat, though.
Attack?
I would probably go offensive, yeah.
Yeah.
Bijou, how did you do? Bijou.
Sorry, I got distracted.
You were looking for a 14.
I got a 14.
14. Okay, so you hit. So take your Marvel die and then multiply that times your damage modifier. And then whatever special abilities you had.
My Marvel dice is 6.
Great. And what is your damage modifier for agility?
2, I think.
2. Okay.
Damage
And did you say you have a
modifier,
special
yes.
ability for the sniper?
For sniping, if it's a fantastic, which it's
Okay.
not, it's triple damage.
All right,
And
so
I
you're
can
still
shoot at
doing
least
12
20
damage.
spaces
That's a
away.
nice solid hit.
Plus your agility number.
Oh, right. Which would be 2, I think.
Yes.
So that's 14 total damage. One of these brood creatures is zipping past you, and you shoot your beam off, and it just blasts right through one of these insectoid wings, and it spirals a little bit, but it's still moving so fast it starts crawling instead into a tunnel past you. There's still so many more that are moving around you. It's like you're in a tornado of these things as they're just creating a whirlwind. And Stranglehold, you said you wanted to grapple one, right?
Yeah, so my arm's gonna, like my free arm's gonna sneak out and around, snaking around the wall and going for like whatever big and ugly one that's relatively close, like the closest one. He's gonna try to wrap it around like an anaconda. And I'm
All right, go ahead and make your check.
Yeah, this is my grappling technique. This is a martial arts power. Take some focus. Here we go. Nice. That is a total of a 19.
Yay.
19. You only needed a 14 for their melee defense. So I
Okay.
believe you're doing damage, and they are now grappled, correct?
Correct. And I didn't get a fantastic, so they're not pinned, but they are grabbed. So I'm going to do a total. What do I have on my marble die? That's a 4 on my marble die. So that is a total of 21 points of damage as I squeeze.
Is this all one-handed too?
Doesn't say in particular, like one.
Just narratively.
Yeah. It's just the one arm, like snaking around him as a singular snake, just wrapping around.
And it constricts around the legs and the wings, and it starts tugging and pulling away from you, but you've got it in a tight hold. And we have one of these brood immobilized now. So if any of you want, you can all go for the one that he has a grapple on. Otherwise, it's still going to be random, whichever one you hit. And we are going into our first real round of combat where they will be able to attack as well. Wraith, go ahead. You're starting us off.
Okay, so for my move action, I'm going to continue my blink barrage, so they have a difficulty locking in on me. So you see him fade out, boom, pop up. He pops up in the vicinity of one of them, and he is going to do his folding space time that actually strikes at the molecular bonds about their body and sort of teleports part of them away at a microscopic level. So that's the flavored version of Venom Blast. So it's a ranged attack. 5 on the Marvel die. 6, 11, 13 plus 2 for 15.
Okay. And did you say you're targeting whichever one's closest to you, or were you going for the same one that Stranglehold has?
No, a different one.
Okay.
Yeah, so
how much damage
he's
was that again?
basically. I didn't do damage. I got a 15 to hit.
You hit. Sorry, I
Okay.
should have said that. Their
So,
melee
with a
defense
5
here is 14.
Okay. It would be against their range defense, though. Their agility
Actually, for
defense.
these guys, it's the same number.
Okay, cool.
They have an ability that allows them
Evasion
to
or
use their melee
brawling.
defense.
Brawling.
Brawling, that's it.
Yeah.
They get to use their melee defense for agility.
Okay, so my agility multiplier is 4. I got a 5 on the marble die for a total of 22 points of damage.
22,
with my
solid
teleportation
hit.
strike.
One of these creatures is flying through again, and your strike hits it just square in the center, but there's still so many of them circling about, and you got a solid hit on it, but it still seems very mobile and very deadly. So you did your movement, your action. Are you good?
Yeah. So I'm continuing to blink around. So the blink barrage is like through the whole time. Yeah, I'll
And
save.
you still have that wall, so you still have plenty
Yep.
of defense as well.
And I still got 2 reactions, and I'll save both of those for
Perfect.
later if necessary.
We're going to play a little loose with the positioning here, but we're just going to give you guys the benefit of the doubt on everything. So Ashfall, you're up next.
Okay, so Ashfall is just going to put her hand on either side of these tunnel walls that are, and just pull like these giant dirt boulders out, and she is going to throw them with an elemental burst, which doesn't cost me focus. It's like just my base attack. And I got a 14 plus agility to hit, so that's fine. And
Which one were you targeting?
I'll target the one that Stranglehold has pinned down.
All right.
So that is 14 points of damage.
14. And go ahead and describe how your attack looks as it's going through Stranglehold's like flexibility arm or around. Go ahead and give us a description of that.
It's more dirt than rock, these boulders. So as they come down on the creature that Stranglehold has a hold on, it doesn't need to retain its shape. So it just condenses and goes in through any orifice or opening this creature has until they are so full of dirt. They can't do anything else, and it just dies. The end.
That's nasty.
All right.
Just give it like a dirt enema. Is that what you just did?
No.
Ugh. Ugh.
You
Such
had
high
his
school
face
humor
up.
All right. So this one's looking hurt. It's definitely not extremely injured, but between the two of you, you're putting some pressure on it. But it is now the Brood's turn. And we have one that is going to be going towards, I should have had this die ready. Wraith. So it's going to have 2 trouble against you said, or is it 3?
Yep. Triple trouble.
Triple trouble.
With the wall. So
they normally get an edge, so that cancels out 1, which
Double
means they
trouble.
still have 2 trouble. So I got to re-roll those 5s. That gives me a fantastic success, but I don't think it's going to hit. So that is a 14 to hit.
14 is my defense.
Let me do the math here. 3, 6, 1. 14. All right, and that's a fantastic success.
As my reaction, I'm going to throw up elemental protection on Wrath, which the character protects themselves with their element or their friend. Any attack against them that does 10 points of damage or less is instantly absorbed, and the protection continues. If the attack does more than 10 points of damage, it destroys the protection. Either way, the character remains unharmed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Perfect.
That's my job.
Aaron, would you mind looking that up for me? That I do take the reroll for trouble, right? It's not the lower number.
Yeah, I'll double check that.
I appreciate it. Just want to make sure I'm doing that right. But we still have another Brood, and it is going to be going towards Bijou.
You used the worst of the 2 numbers.
Oh, okay. So it would have been a miss then.
Okay.
So Ashfall, you still have your reaction.
Hey, thank you.
And I have 1 trouble, or no, it's just a straight roll against Bijou because you have edge, and I have an edge, and you have a trouble, so that cancels it out. So it's a normal roll, which is an 11 again with a fantastic success. This lolly die is really helping me out. So that is 15 to hit you, Bijou, with a melee attack.
Yeah, 11 is my melee defense.
Okay, then I get elemental protection for Bijou.
There we go. So this creature comes flying at you, and it's got these razor sharp forelegs just slicing at you. Ashfall, go ahead and describe how that looks.
So essentially, a duplicate of you, but made out of dirt, rises from the ground, and the creature just kind of latches onto the wrong thing.
Nice.
And it's that last second defense that stops these things from tearing into you. But we have another attack going on Stranglehold here. This is not the one that you're going after. Again, canceled out, so it's a straight roll. It's going to be a 13 to hit. Melee.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
I'm a professional martial artist.
So this
high
thing just
school
comes
wrestler.
up and just tries to like pummel you. But your flexibility allows you to dodge most of it or absorb the impact.
I would like to say that Charlie bursts from my medium and just sort of uses the kind of the flaccid arms to kind of parry away whatever attacks and kind of redirect them. And then I contort. Every now and then he helps.
Absolutely. These flaccid arms are parrying these giant bug forelegs.
The way I envisioned it in my head is sort of that like little like, you know, it's usually like girls that are just sort of like
the
kind of
slap
slapping at each other.
He's a
That's
grower,
kind of
not
my
a shower.
picture. That's this.
I'm an X-Man, Bijou. It's way more cool and heroic than that. But yeah, it's pretty accurate.
All right, so we have one nano brood that's actually going to be going towards the one that's grappled, and basically it's going to be attacking you, Stranglehold, but it's just giving the help action to the one that's there.
Gotcha.
We have another one that is going to attack Ashfall here. Just a straight attack here, so that's 13 melee attack.
Melee? Yeah, that hits.
I only rolled a 2 on the Marvel die, though, so it's going to be for 8 total damage there.
No. Actually, I've got sturdy, which means my health damage reduction by 2. But thank you.
Okay, so that takes away from the damage modifier, correct?
Modifier, yes.
All right, so it's going to be 2 times 0? Let's say a minimum of 1.
1.
So it's going to be 6 damage.
All right. Luckily, I have healing factors, so I'll deal with that later.
And we have the nano brood that is being grappled by Stranglehold is just thrashing and writhing, attempting to get out. It has edge here from its companion helping. Stranglehold, am I going for a melee defense here?
It would be a melee. Yeah. So can I ask a quick question about reactions?
Absolutely.
So I have a reaction for something that if the target is grabbed, is that like when it initially becomes grabbed, or is that like anytime it's grabbed? Okay.
Anytime.
So if that's the case, as the other one goes and tries to help him free, I am going to trigger my reaction, and I'll do it for him, because I'm going to instead use spin and throw. And so I'm just going to whip him back and then fling him. And because I am mighty, I have extra sizes for like lifting and carrying and swinging. So 2 sizes bigger. So I assume that's probably good
you can
enough
get
for
him.
these.
Absolutely.
And so I'm just going to fling him. So this is a melee attack. So I'll go ahead and do that. I also forgot this last time, but I do actually have an edge on melee attacks. So I'm going to go ahead and take that this time. Okay, so with the edge, I do get a fantastic success. Total of a 17 to hit. Fantastic.
Is that including the double?
What's that?
Fantastic doubles your damage. Did you include that?
Oh, I haven't done the damage yet. I was just telling you what I got to hit.
Oh, I'm sorry. 17 hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
17 to hit. So this is going to be 2 times my damage. So the damage is, the Marvel die is a 6, right? Like when
It
it's
counts as
Yep.
a 6.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so then it's 58 points of damage. Is how much
boy.
it's going to do.
Wow.
And it's also prone, pinned, and stunned for 1 round. If it's
Not only is it prone, pinned, and stunned, but it is indeed dead. Describe how you're making this bug splatter.
so like I'm a driving a wagon. I'm just going to pull my arm back like it's just some sort of like stagecoach whip, fling him up, and just fling him back like down a tunnel or into some of his other compatriots, and he just kind of explodes against the wall. Just a bug against a windshield.
And you got a fantastic success. So let's go ahead and say you get to change the scenario just a tiny way as well. What would you like to add here?
Can I? Would it be okay to say I'd knock one of them prone?
Absolutely. So we'll say that the one that you were trying to help, as you spin and throw this guy, it got completely thrown away and it is now prone. It's on its back. It's wriggling, trying to right itself.
Okay.
So that one, I'm going to say that can also be targeted while it's still prone because it's not able to move. And that brings us to Bijou. It is your turn.
Okay. Are they like more than 20 spaces away that I need to snipe at this point, or are they closer that I can just try like a double tap?
Both. So there are some that are close by that you can double tap. If you want to go for one longer, they're moving in such chaotic ways that you can absolutely find one that's further away.
Okay. I'll kind of alternate use of focus. So I'll do the double tap without focus. So, wow, that's not going to do anything. Yeah, that's a miss. I rolled a 2, a 1, and a 1. Oh, wait. No, I rolled a 1 on a Marvel die. So let me try that again. So that's a 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope, that's still a miss.
Still a miss. Did you have an edge on the attack at all?
No.
Okay.
So she like tries to like switch from like sniping far to like hitting up close and just like it's a wall.
And it's really nothing you can control. You were targeting properly, but these creatures are moving so fast and they're ducking in and out of these tunnels. If it was a more comical situation, you'd be thinking of Scooby-Doo with the doors opening and the bugs going through, and they seem close and they're further. Unfortunately, this is a very deadly mystery gang coming after you. Stranglehold, you are up.
So I know you said that there were specific rules for targeting. Can I target the one that was prone?
The one that is prone is now immobilized. You can absolutely target. Okay. If you want to target one moving, it's going to be random.
No, I'm going to go for the one that fell down, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to this, but this time I'm going to, with my other arm, as I'm kind of pulling back, say my left arm to kind of get it back into position, I'm going to drop the torch and let Charlie grab it. And so you see my additional limbs grab the torch, and then I'm going to send, like, I'm not even left-handed, and then I'm going to send my right arm out at the other one and make another grappling attack.
And take an edge for it being prone.
And I'm going to get another one just from stuff I have. My additional limbs actually give me. Well, that's a really good roll. Can you you get to choose the best one, right? When you use an edge, right?
Choose the best.
Okay. All right, because I rolled a 6 on the Marvel die, but I didn't roll a 1, so I'm going to re-roll that to see if I can get a fantastic. All right, I didn't. But still, it's a 21 to hit.
That easily hits. And
Okay.
you're taking the 6 on the Marvel die, I think, right? So you're doing maximum damage here.
Yeah, so maximum damage is 29 again. So 29 points of damage. Because I didn't get a fantastic, there's no extra multiplier. So it's just 29 points of damage as I scoop this one up this time I'm going to kind of put my hand underneath it and let my fingers grow and just wrap around it and just squeeze and squeeze and squeeze.
You
You're
said my
squeezing
dirt thing was gross.
What?
You're squeezing as hard as you can, and this creature is still alive and kicking and threatening, but you can feel the shell, the chitinous shell, beginning to crack under your strength.
Does it really feel like it's going down? Does it feel like it's really hurt?
It's going to take some more strength to take it down, but you're close.
Okay, I'm going to throw it then, because I can do that, I think. Actually, no, I can't, because I have one reaction
It's once per round.
So it's going to be the next round. I'll wait. I'll throw him in.
It's the next round.
Okay, so I throw him. Fastball special. No, that's not right. And I'm going to throw. So I'm going to do spin and throw technique again. Marking my focus. Okay. Same deal.
And Wraith,
use
you're
my
on deck.
edge. Okay, so no fantastic, but I did roll a 19 on my spin
That's
and
a hit.
throw, 5 on my Marvel die. That's 25 points of damage.
25. Another solid
And
hit,
prone.
and it is now prone just a little bit further across the tunnel. You slam it into a wall. It crumples to the ground. You see it's still moving. It's feebly trying to pull itself up with its legs and tentacles. It's still alive. It can still be threatening, but you've taken a big chunk out of it.
Stay.
And you hear the buzzing of more wings in response as the brood continue to fly around. Wraith, what are you doing?
So Wraith again is just popping in and out, bouncing around this area, and then you see him pop out. He's hovering in the air for a second, right over the one that Stranglehold just battered and threw, and to finish it off, he strikes down with his strike and begins to teleport pieces of this thing away before he fades out again. So this is
Beautiful.
the teleportation strike, flavored venom blast. I got a 1 on the Marvel die, so that counts as a 6 plus 7 is 13 plus 2 is 15 to hit.
Just barely a hit. Go ahead and roll
Okay,
your damage.
okay.
Or do your damage.
So it's a fantastic success. This Marvel die counts as a 6, so that's 24, 26, 52 points of damage.
So that happens exactly like you say, but you're also destroying it, just utterly destroying it. Go ahead and describe that and describe how you're using that to shift the battle in your favor with a fantastic success.
So what happens, you see him appear over this thing, and then you see the air shimmer around this like it does when he teleports. But he's so angry, and it draws on so much power, maybe some of the untapped potential from his greater strength. And you see just an entire middle section of this brood fold in on itself and shred this thing, just tear it into pieces. And then as he shifts away, I think how it changes up the battle a bit is there's a hole in these creatures' defense now, in their net as it's trying to collapse around us. Their formation is scattered by this action.
Okay, so we're gonna say the next creature to make an attack has another trouble because of that. And then that brings us to Ashfall.
Right, I am going to do something we haven't done before. I am going to use one of my karma to recover some focus, which means that I am going to roll a vigilance check, and I need at least a 10 to recover focus. Oh, I got a 1 on my Marvel dice, which is still just 11, which is great. So I just made it. And then I will use the Marvel dice to do an attack like normal, except for vigilance to count up my focus. But that is my action. So you can keep going while I do that.
Yeah, so recovery, you total up the number and multiply it by your rank, which would be 2.
2. Yeah, so it would be 6 times 2 plus 6. So yeah. Or sorry, no, vigilance is much lower. But yeah. Oh, attack like normal. Yeah. 2.
Yeah, I might be reading this
You
wrong. On a
add up all
success-
3 dice and then multiply it times your rank, and that's how much focus you get back.
Ah, thank
Right.
you, Aaron. I was misreading that then.
It reads, on a success, total up the number normally and multiply it by the character's rank, which is exactly what Aaron said. But then
Yeah.
it says, just like you would with a damage roll, which is not how you do damage.
Yeah, I was about to
So
say
that-
that's the bit that I
Yeah, that's
miscalculated on. I'm like, wait
Let's
a
go with
minute.
what Aaron said, though.
Yeah,
Total up all 3 and then multiply it.
Yeah, that makes way more sense. So this is 22 focus, which I'm just going to round to 20 because they're all 5s and 10s anyway.
All right, and you said that's your turn?
Yes.
All right. So we have one of these brood, which will be lashing out at Stranglehold here. However, it's going to get a trouble. Your wall is down now, Ashfall, right?
Concentration.
Not until you do damage to it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You have to
Uh,
do at least 11 damage to
Okay.
that wall to bring it down.
So we're going to say that you still get trouble for that, and then a trouble because of Wraith. So I'm going with one total trouble here since it has an edge on melee. Reroll that 5. That is still just barely a 13. Does that hit you, Stranglehold?
Are you kidding? I wasn't in the choir. I was in high school wrestling. That's a miss.
You
Get out of
could
here.
have also been in the choir. You could have done both.
You don't want to hear me sing.
Next one is going for Ashfall. Gonna re-roll that 6. So that one is a 13 plus 4. That's a 17.
17 hits.
All right, and we're gonna say that this is the one that's going towards the wall here. Because I gave it trouble for you being behind that. Only a 3 on the marble die, so that's a 3. You have -2, so 3 times 1. So it's going to be
the wall wouldn't
7
have the
total. So
-2.
it doesn't. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then it just barely breaks the wall. Then
All right, so we
it
no
gets
longer.
exactly a 10.
You don't like my walls? I'll just put another one up. I just got all my focus back.
You absolutely can. All right, so that is 2 of them. We only have 2 left because you've taken out quite a few already. And this one is going on Wraith here, which is how many trouble now?
Just 2 now that the wall's down.
All right, and it counteracts with my edge, so it's just 1. So that 6 becomes a 4. 4, 5, 4. That's another 17 still.
I will use my reaction to blink and teleport about 10 feet behind it so it misses me.
Perfect. And then we have our final one attacking here, which is going towards Bijou. And I have to re-roll this. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have trouble anymore, do I? So I get an edge on this one. Bijou, do you have anything that gives me trouble?
No.
All right, so I'm going to re-roll this one. This is going to hurt, maybe.
No,
so that's,
this is why I got
15 to
focus
hit.
back.
Yes. But well, actually, so I
Going for your melee defense.
So I can do shrinking dodge as a reaction.
Absolutely
Right.
can, and this
That's
would be it.
Okay. Seems like a good use of 5 focus.
All right, so shrinking dodge. Go ahead and describe how that looks for us.
So basically, she's kind of seen this whole like pincher things come at her before, and Ashfall was able to kind of bring up the like sand version of herself. And she kind of like sees that there's other things that are a little bit busy, and she's like, and so when I forgot this last time, but whenever she shrinks, she just quietly says, "See ya," and then she's gone.
All right, and you use that momentum, it flows right into your turn.
Okay, and so now the attacker has trouble. So that was an answer to your question.
Oh, okay.
Attacker
Yeah.
has trouble.
So I'm going to
doesn't negate
re-roll.
everything that you were trying to do. It just gives you trouble now.
So that would be still a 14 to hit. However, it's not a fantastic success.
Yeah, I have 11. 11 does hit Bijou.
So that is going to be 12 damage there.
Reaction.
Tiny
Little sphere of sand goes over tiny little Bijou.
Can I hit someone here?
No.
Just once?
No,
Just-
this is my
no?
whole
No,
thing,
okay.
my whole gimmick. You're not going to hit anyone.
Dude,
Oh, I
we're
love it. I do love it.
superheroes. What are you
You are
thinking?
superheroes. Emphasis on super.
These are mooks.
And you know what? There are now 10 more of these guys that come flooding through the... No, I'm just kidding.
Right?
So Bijou, now it's your turn.
nano brood.
Okay. So I'm assuming does this little like sphere thing like go away once it like I can shoot through it?
It is just a
Yeah.
reaction, and as soon as they hit it, well, if they do 11 damage or above, it disappears, but it's supposed to just be a protection for you. It's not a block.
Okay. And I think they did 11 damage or more, so it would disappear then. I'm pretty
Yeah, I did 12 damage.
Okay, then yes, yeah, it's gone.
Yeah. Okay. So then I am going to. I'm going to see if I can do something that feels a little more Ashfallish, but she's busy defending our hides. So you had said that there were sort of these metal pieces that had been on the walls, but if I remember correctly, some of them weren't on the wall. So you could kind of see like concrete and whatnot underneath. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, you're mostly into the natural caverns, but we can say that there were a couple pieces that still made it this far, for sure.
Okay. Basically, I'm just looking to see if I can do some kind of a collapse so that we're not trying to take these out one at a time, but see if I can just smush several of them beneath something. So concrete, whatever that would be.
What do we want to label this as? So you get escape, grab, help, move, use a power.
Like I was just
let's call this your
beam range.
Just double tap, but you can make it against two people. Let's call it that.
Okay. And basically I'm not aiming at them, I'm aiming at the dirt or something above them.
Yeah. And we're just gonna flavor it as the dirt. So you're gonna make a ranged attack and it's gonna count against both defenses.
Oh.
Kipser, we don't need to throw shade in chat. Okay. Just can someone ban her, please?
Bijou missed. That is a 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, that's a miss.
Okay. So you're starting to blast at this earth and you're doing some damage, but unfortunately the big chunk doesn't fall. It's just dust and pebbles that start coming down.
Yep.
And for those listening, Kipser is in the chat saying that I talked big about a hard fight today. And I will say, by the book, this was supposed to be a very hard fight. So this isn't my fault.
I mean, actually, it kind of does sound like your fault because if it's by the book, maybe it's a tactical situation going on. Just saying.
Good.
I mean, the book said it was supposed to be hard, so what went wrong?
Just saying.
Just
user error.
User error. Okay.
Wow.
So Bijou, you shrink down and you're blasting as you do that. Unfortunately, you just can't quite get a good hit to bring that down. That brings us to Stranglehold.
Okay, do I see any of these that are actually incapacitated still? Or is any knocked over or stunned or prone or anything? Anything still like that?
As of right now, there is nothing that is stunned, I believe. The two that you were able to grapple and swing have both been destroyed.
Okay, and so there's just, and how many more are there left now? 3, 4?
4-ish. Yeah.
4-ish.
We might change that next round.
Okay. Okay. I think he's just going to, this time, he's going to send both arms out, and he's going to try to, I mean, if it's working, I'm going to keep going with it and try to, again, do grappling technique. It seems like the right thing to do against these creatures, so I'm going to keep doing that.
It has worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I have another thing I can do, but it doesn't really, this seems, grappling seems like a better thing to do. Okay. All right, so I'm definitely going to hit, so I'm going to go ahead and use my edge to reroll that 6 on that Marvel die again. Okay, so that's a total of 17 to hit.
Hits.
Damage, again, is going to be 29, so it's the max damage I could do on a regular hit. And it is grabbed, and so what happens is I'm going to send both arms out, and they're going to like kind of snake around, and then they're going to meet in the front of him. So they're going to wrap around from behind, and they're just going to squeeze like they're giving like a really big reverse bear hug.
And you said 29 damage again?
29 points of damage.
All right. And the wings are fluttering as wildly as they can as you start holding them down and pinning them, using all your high school wrestling know-how to keep this guy under control. So now all of you have at least one target that you can focus fire on if you'd like. Otherwise, it'll still be random attacks.
I do want to draw attention to that for a sec if I can, because this is going to probably come up a few times. So with a grab, if you're targeting somebody who's grabbed, there is the potential to hit the person who is doing the grabbing. So anyone making an attack against an entangled character, you have trouble. If the attack against the target fails, you compare the same attack against the other target, like so me, my agility defense, to see if it hits them instead. But if the attacker doesn't care who gets a hit, then the attacker has an edge on their check. So if you don't care about hitting Stranglehold, you actually can get an edge on the roll.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying.
Temptation.
And mathematically,
And if
it's
the
actually a
result
good idea. Because
Yeah,
Stranglehold has a higher defense than these
I
guys.
have a 45 defense. It's really difficult.
45. Let's not go that far. So yeah, basically,
also
you can't hit Stranglehold by accident.
Yeah, if the result is high enough to hit one of the targets but not the other, that's who it hits. If it's high enough to hit either of them, then you determine the actual target randomly. So, if you decide-
randomly. Okay.
Oh.
Thank you for looking that up.
Yeah.
That throws a wrench into that.
And that
Honestly,
brings us to round
just-
3.
just attack it. I'm fine.
Wraith, you're up. You're fine. Okay, come on. We don't need to be cocky now.
I have so much health. You haven't hit me yet, and I have health reduction. If you were to
Okay.
actually
I missed
damage me.
pretty badly though.
Okay,
As you
so,
know, when I throw things in your direction, sometimes that
The
doesn't
knife.
work so well.
So Wraith, as he glances down at what Stranglehold has in his arms, he will do a teleportation strike at it and try to just fold parts of it away.
You care which one you hit.
I don't care. I'm gonna go with the edge.
I think Strang will be like, hit it. I got it right here. I'm teeing it up for you, Wraith. Come on.
I got a 6 on the Marvel die for a 12, 14, 15 in total.
15 in total means it could be either one.
That is true.
Yep.
So red or blue, Aaron?
Red.
It was blue. That means it's hitting Stranglehold.
Sorry, dude.
No, it's
How much
all right.
damage are we doing?
So we're doing
Finally, I'm
26
hurting
points of
Stranglehold.
damage.
Well, actually, reduce your damage multiplier by 1.
Okay.
Because I do have health reduction. Health damage
Fantastic.
reduction.
So 18, 20.
Okay. Ow, what are you doing? It's a bug. How could you hit me? Hit the bug.
Sorry that my aim's off with this weakness.
I finally figured this game out, guys. This is how I hurt you.
Yeah.
It's actually how Aaron hurt me. You weren't really involved at all,
Just need
except
to
for
pit you
lying
against
about
each
what
other.
the die rolled.
I would never.
Uh-huh.
Never.
Totally.
Dice are sacred. Sacred.
And he continues to
Even when we curse them.
disappear and reappear around the room.
And just as these brood are still fluttering and flapping, the buzzing vibration of their wings still just drowns out any noise. Wraith is moving just as quickly as them. You see him there, and then he's gone, and then he's there, and then he's gone. In that, what sound does your teleportation make?
It's more like as the air rushes back into the space folded around him. There's no smell. There's a slight glow around him, and then it's an almost instantaneous folding. So it's a weird optical effect, and he just disappears.
And you hear that noise of the air rushing back over and over and over, and it gets faster, it gets slower. Ashfall, you are up.
So quick amendment, as cocky as I am, I mixed up my protection earth stuff, so I wasn't actually able to protect with a react. It's actually an action that cost me, so I will apologize for that. As now,
We're getting a new Kipser command in the chat,
Yeah.
right?
yeah, apparently.
On
Kipser
it.
cheats at RPGs.
I also cheated RPGs, but I am going to. The bugs that are flying around us are random, but we are in these tunnels, these smaller tunnels. So I would like to create the elemental barrier, but I want to create it kind of around their area and compress it a little bit.
Elemental grab.
No, elemental barrier. It's still a barrier. The grab wouldn't do damage, but the barrier, the characters make an agility check and compare the results against the agility defense of any target in the affected space. So I'm kind of like running the wall through them, I guess.
Okay.
And maybe
You're gonna
like
hit at least one here, and I'll roll to see if you get 2 of them in there, because it's 2 spaces for this barrier,
Sure.
right?
I do need to make an agility check with the wall to see if I hit any of them. Yeah. And I can
Okay.
do up to 4 spaces across.
4 spaces. Okay.
Yeah. I got a 1 on the Marvel dice. So a fantastic. So that is a 13 plus my agility. So 16 to hit.
16 hits, and you got 2 of them here.
Nice. Then that is going to be 18 points of damage.
18. All right. So this barrier just comes up out of the ground, and the brood that were flying through and past just get crushed up against the ceiling. The wall kind of folds in on them. You hit 2 of them really hard. A lot of it was their own momentum and weight just crushing into that rock. You hear the shell on rock like crunch a little bit, but there's still the fluttering and the buzzing. And it's now my turn. All these brood rolled right next to each other. We didn't get them mixed up at all. All right, so this one's going to be on Ashfall here. That is going to be 19 to hit.
Yeah. That would totally hit. Elemental protection is a reaction for myself, though.
Okay. So you're using that as your reaction for the turn.
Yes.
Damage is going to be 10, 14 then. So that goes to the barrier, right?
Yes, that goes to the barrier. It does not get through to me, but the barrier is destroyed.
All right. Next one is going on Jericho with 2 trouble here. I'm sorry, just 1 trouble here, but I rolled horrible anyways.
2 trouble. Oh, that's right, because you got an edge. Yeah, you're right.
I have an edge, yeah. So that's going to be a 4-1-1 for your information.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
that's very clever. It's extremely clever because it's a miss. It's a horrible miss. So
it's a horrible miss. Horrible miss. We have the one that Stranglehold is grappling is going to attempt to break the grapple here.
So reactions, they occur, they interrupt.
They can
right?
interrupt a turn.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna throw him. I'm gonna spin and throw before he actually can attack me.
If he lives though, he still gets his action.
Well, the funny thing is he probably won't be able to reach me though. Like that's the thing, because I actually can reposition them, and he's gonna be prone, and so the amount of movement he probably doesn't have enough to get to me. So learn
These guys have any ranged attacks?
man.
Jeez, they don't, do they?
Okay, I'm gonna use my my edge. Okay, my edge gives me a fantastic, so that's 17 fantastic on my spin and throw.
That's a hit.
So that's going to do. Hang on. Let me just do some quick math. I know everyone likes it. 29, 58 points of damage. Is he still alive to attack me back?
Take a guess.
So I'm gonna throw him again. And so he is prone, pinned, stunned if he's still alive. And
destroyed.
Yeah. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze until I hear it crunch. And then I'm going to just kind of like almost like we're doing like a tango. I'm just going to unfurl him and just kind of spin him across the room. And so he spins in this bifurcated fashion and just starts herring and getting little bug wings in his friends' faces.
And the guts go flying all over a shrunken bijou.
No. So rude.
Who I am now attacking.
Wow.
That is a fantastic die. And then with the edge, okay, so that's 11, 15 to hit. I think you said 11, so that's a hit, right? How am I only rolling fantastic against you?
It's just rude.
It's just how dice work.
So that's 12 plus 4, so 16 doubled, 32. And Ashfall used her reaction for the round. So I believe that's going to go through.
Okay.
Nothing I can do.
Ew.
She could shrink again and try to at least give you trouble.
Yeah, you could do that.
I could shrink down from little to tiny.
Yeah, because you have your reaction back for the turn.
Okay. So I will give you the trouble.
which means I wouldn't have been able to re-roll that die. So I had a 4 and a 1. I think that's still a hit. That's still a 12.
Okay, so I spent 5 focus and took 32 damage anyway. Cool.
Okay. Actually, I did my math wrong. That'd be an 11. Does that still hit? I think you said 11 anyways, right?
11 is my defense score.
Okay. And I get to use this ability that I've yet to be able to use. They have exploit. They find a weak spot and they exploit it. As a reaction, if they get a fantastic success that deals at least 1 point of damage, they spend 5 focus and make another melee attack against the target's resilience defense.
See, I'm here for you to show off cool.
That's a
stuff.
20 to hit.
This is.
I don't get an
my
edge on that
job.
one, though.
Yes, clearly.
Does her shrink thing cause trouble, like permanently, like when she's in shrink form and then she's
It's a
in tiny form,
reaction.
or is it just the one?
One attack.
Just one
Let me
attack.
look it
Okay.
up. I've got size right here. Resize, shrinking dodge, reaction. The character's attack. The attacker has trouble on the attack, not for the round. Good question, though. All right. So with exploit, if it's a success, the damage it does ignores health damage reduction. It is not fantastic, though. So I'm doing another 14 points of damage.
Oh,
Man, I would be just about done. I'd be almost out at this point.
I wouldn't even.
See,
be
these guys hit
close
hard.
yet.
I just haven't been able to hit.
I started at 60.
They only
and
hit
I'm
for
14.
32.
Yeah. I've only got 62.
I'm
I'd be
sorry.
crushed.
Then half.
Captain of the wrestling team over here.
It wasn't captain,
Bijou, it is
actually.
your turn. You were getting
Okay.
pummeled by this brood.
Yes, so now that I am the size of a brick, my attack modifier is now a -3. So that's
It's just your melee attack modifier, though, right?
I'm not entirely sure. It's just sort of a box. It just says not quite sure exactly how that works.
For which part?
I will try to do the same thing I did last time, except I'm going to take an audience edge this time.
Okay.
I'm going to try to go slow and give Aaron time to look that up and see if I'm going to -3 on this. With my edge, let's see. That is a 12. That would be a 14 if I don't have a -3.
14 is their defense.
I'm trying
so
to hit
you are
the-
hitting right,
that's
right.
right. Yeah,
But
yeah,
we're
yeah.
we're flavoring it as against their defense. Unfortunately, most of the ones in your area have been killed. So you are getting the one right there. So your double tap goes against that one.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I used an audience die to do. I didn't roll horribly though, but let me try this one. 15.
15.
Assuming I
That's
don't
still a
have
hit.
the
Yep.
-3.
So it's your Marvel die times your modifier plus your ability score.
8 damage.
It's still a hit. One of these rocks is dislodged from the ceiling and a metal plate falls with it. It goes down, just slicing through one of the tentacles on this creature. Bug guts are starting to splurt from the side, but it's still very angry and ready to attack.
So that attack modifier thing, that's if you're using a weapon that size, that's the modifier you apply to it. So if you throw a brick at somebody, it's a -3 attack modifier, as opposed to throwing a bus, which would be a +3.
Oh.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. The size thing, there's an objects and there's a chart that's
Oh.
specifically for objects and things. The size
Oh,
power or the
okay.
shrink power didn't have anything
Yeah,
listed.
yeah.
for
So
some
your
reason.
your
I
modifiers
see.
all stay the same. It's only if you're
Okay.
using an improvised weapon of some weird size that you
Sweet.
apply that modifier.
Thank you for
Thank you.
looking that up, Aaron. So Bijou, that's your turn. Stranglehold, we're back to you.
Okay, so there's one still on Bijou that's still
It's
beating away at her.
close to her. It's not exactly been pinned down.
Are
so
they?
you're gonna have to
we've
grapple
killed a
one if you
lot
wanna
of
hold it
them,
down.
but we've
You
killed a
have.
lot of them at this point. Is it
You
easier
thinned them
to,
out.
Is it easier to target them now, like intentionally?
If you want to take a trouble on an attack, I can say you target it. How about that?
Yeah. Do I want to do that? Sure. Okay. So seeing Bijou in a little bit of trouble and feeling very guilty about getting bug guts all over her, he is going to shoot out one of his arms, and it's going to sneak around behind the one that's targeting her, tap it on the shoulder, and when it turns to look, it's going to punch him in the face. As I'm going to use reverse punch. And
Nice.
I normally get two edges with this ability, because one for the edge gives me one, and then one I have one for additional my additional limbs. But because I have trouble, so one of them cancels out. So I only have the one. Okay. Fantastic. That's what you get, dude. And I'm gonna re-roll the one on the other die that I have. Well, that was still not great. It's only a 16 actually, because I did roll poorly on the other dice. 16.
Only
though.
needed a 14.
Okay.
So fantastic. That's double damage then, right? And what's the effect
yes.
for reverse punch?
So it is double damage, and it's stun. So he's going to take 58 points of damage and is stunned for 1 round.
He's stunned for the
not
rest
going to
of
be
his short
stunned,
life.
actually.
Listen, his corpse will be unstunned.
Describe your kill here. And as you do it, describe how it's so brutal that the remaining 2 brood begin to flee
Okay.
through the tunnels.
So everything I described already, he sneaks it around, sees Bijou. He's like, Bijou, sorry. And then taps the guy on the shoulder. When it turns, it's whatever close thing it is to a head in its direction. He punches, but he punches so hard, like it just maybe an old hint of his powers, or just kind of, over, like it didn't calibrate properly. And his fist just goes clear through the head and out the other side. Oh. And then he goes to pull the arm back, but then the body kind of gets caught as he's trying to pull it back in fingers, and he just kind of flings it around in almost comical fashion, but it looks really intimidating probably to the other bugs, and eventually throws it to the ground.
And Bijou's getting like accidentally.
it's just raining. Blood guts just raining down in Bijou. I'm helping.
And with their numbers suitably thinned out, the remaining bugs just begin to scatter and spread away. It shows that they have some sort of intelligence to them, that they see they're in a losing fight. You have a moment, you start breathing, you're looking around, your flaming sweater is on the ground, still alight, we'll say, giving you a little bit of light here.
Excuse me, Charlie's been holding it. My extra limb has been holding it.
Oh yeah,
the
you're
whole
right.
time.
I'm sorry. The whole time. The whole time.
The whole time.
Except when he went like this and attacked the thing.
That was before I dropped it into his hand. There we
go.
You get a moment and you're breathing and you're catching your breath. The adrenaline is starting to come down. You get a closer look at these creatures, and it's unlikely that any of you have ever seen brood before. These are alien. They're like nothing you would ever find on Earth. But as you're looking, you see something strange that kind of sticks out. You see that there's like discoloration to their shell, their chitin, and it seems unnatural. It's not organic. It's like blue lines that make hard right angles, and they just kind of like crisscross at places, and it's like a network that is forming through their shell. And as you're looking, we'll say Bijou got hit the hardest. So we're going to say there's a little rip on the sleeve of your arm. As you're looking at Lise, one of you looks over at Bijou, and you see on her arm where the bruise was from the nano sentinels is the same sort of pattern beginning to grow. These sort of like grid of thin blue lines.
Looks like they were injected with the same things we were.
But how did they catch the brood to do that? Or is the sentinels like something you can catch?
Who knows?
Wait.
We're gonna have to dive into this further and figure out how to get rid of these things.
And if one of you, anyone who wants actually, could make a, we'll call this vigilance test.
Give it a shot.
Strangle is not bad. Surprising. 15 for Strangle.
14, but a 1 on the Marvel die.
Fantastic success then. Great. Both of you are going to notice this, and Jericho, you can make a little fantastic result, however you want in a second. The two of you are coming down from the adrenaline, and you've been so focused on catching the sound of the vibrations and the wind that as you're like taking stock of if you're injured, if there's any bruises, anything like that, you feel a slight vibration coming from your ankle bracelet. It's nothing strong, but it's something that wasn't there before. And where there was a glowing red pulse, it is now a glowing blue pulse of light. Just like a little LED change color.
Does that correspond to the same discoloration in the circuitry patterns we're seeing over the chitin?
It's hard telling there. You can tell that there was something activated by the bracelet for sure. Whether it's the same sort of color, like it's a bruise color is basically what you see on your own arms.
Something's going on with the anklets.
Yeah, that's not good.
Do you think they did it like, and it happened to just changed coincidentally when we got into a fight with these things? Or do you think it changed because we got in a fight with these things or whatever? You know, like did this happen as a result of what we did? Or is it just coincidence?
My money's on coincidence. I think the guys upstairs got to a security booth or something.
Isn't
You're
that
not
where
gonna-
we need to go?
No. Well, if we don't want the nukes to go off, then yeah.
That's what I thought.
Like, I know they told us that. I find it difficult to believe.
Hey, you made the roll and that was the result. I'm just actually yes-anding, but hey.
I can know, but
Well, whether or not these things explode or they just track us, if we leave here with these things on us, they're gonna be after us and on top of us the entire time. We got to find a way to get these things off before we leave, or it's pointless for us to even get out. If we even do find the resistance, they're gonna track them right back to us. So
we need to find another way up, except
that's right.
Not the way we came.
Find another way up, find a way to get these anklets off, find a way to get these things out of our blood, and then find a way to get back to the past.
There's some tunnels like that they were, because weren't they coming down vertically from above us?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I could beat you, or I could go like take a look.
Yeah, I think
Before we get into that, Jericho, did you have an idea of how you want to spend that fantastic result?
I think he would just want to. If there was a way for him to intuit a little bit more about whether or not the change in the anklets was purely coincidental, or if it was a result of our combat with the Brood.
Okay. Yeah, you got a fantastic result. We'll just say that maybe something in your past, your background, you've seen something similar with these anklets where they let out some sort of pulse that began to activate something, likely your nano sentinels. And you feel like from your history that it would be something that was man-made or controlled. If it was the Brood, it wouldn't have been any of these close by. There would be some sort of intelligent Brood that like flipped a switch somewhere. Mm-hmm. Likely it was the guards. Like this would be like a defensive measure, security measure.
Yeah, they're trying to lock us down. You're right. We need to explore these. We need to get up there and we need to stop this before whatever happens when these anklets get to whatever their end purpose is happens. But before we do that, I need to catch my breath for a second. So I am also going to spend a point of karma and recover some focus because I spent 20 myself bopping around. I got over a 10. I got a 14. So 14 times 2, 28 back. Okay, I'm good. I'm back to full.
All right. And I'm just going to narrate a bit of what happens here instead of making checks, because you're going to be able to find some path through these caverns. Stranglehold, you mentioned going up with Bijou. The two of you, you work together, Stranglehold holding light, or Charlie holding light, Threshold holding light, as Bijou starts flying around. And she goes through different sizes to get through these tunnels. And it's just a war, and it's crisscross. There's not much method to the madness, with the exception of these main tunnels that you've been traveling through. The larger tunnels seem that they're very direct, and they make hard right angles, and they have inclines that are almost perfectly angled, whereas the tunnels that come through the side and the ceiling, those are chaotic. They're all different sizes. They go different ways. They make hard turns for no real discernible reason. And you guys are down here for some time. As you start making your way through these tunnels, trying to figure out, sometimes you go through these side tunnels, hoping to find something. Sometimes you follow these main paths. It's hard to tell how far you've gone, if you've gone in a circle, if you've gone in a straight line. And it actually takes not just hours, but maybe a day. There's a point where you even have to sleep in these tunnels. Likely you had to burn another sweater or something like that to keep going. And the frustrating part is that you've gone so far, it's hard to know even which way to turn back. These tunnels all look the same. You don't have the metallic floor panels to follow anymore. It's just earth. And it's hard not to despair a little bit. As you're in the dark, you're getting a little irritated with each other. Your arms are even more tender than before. You can tell that the bruise, the technological bruise, is growing ever so slightly. It just like maybe a centimeter an hour or so. It's starting to spread through most of your arm. And then finally, you see a sign of life from up ahead in one of the side tunnels, not in the main tunnel. You see a flashing blue light. Which one of you wants to take point here?
I can go ahead.
Jericho will.
If it's going to hurt, I could go just as a big dumb meat shield. It's up to you.
So it's one of the three of you. Which one?
Jericho will do it.
Go ahead.
Okay. Jericho, you start moving forward, being very careful so that you can teleport back out of sight if there's anything wrong. You're moving closer and closer as quietly as possible. And then you start to hear voices along with the light. One of them is a very deep, gravelly voice, but there's a couple others that are higher pitched. They seem like they're younger, and they seem friendly almost. They're talking with each other. They're joking with each other. And you also hear the sounds of a TV, maybe some sort of speakers. And you make your way to the edge of this tunnel, and you find finally another room that looks man-made. There's still walls of earth, but there's at least a floor here. There's actually power down here somehow. You see a wall of computers and terminals. You also see a ratty couch with a large mutant who appears to be made entirely of stone. You've seen him at the Institute before. And there's a couple other mutants as well, and they appear to be watching some movie on a projector. And that's where we're going to end the night.
We made it, sort of.
So I'm going to be able to take out Bijou by the end of the campaign, but the rest of you, I think,
Clearly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sounds like.
all right. Let's do some shout outs. Aaron, what do you got going on?
Let's see. Over on Garblag tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time will be the finale of our Death Watch mini campaign, Inquisitor's Fall, where a group of Death Watch space Marines, cause trouble and deal with shenanigans. On Thursday at the same time, you can join Lewis as he continues the One Ring and the Ballads of the Barding. And then next week, Tuesday, Millie should be back with some more Coriolis.
Beautiful. Jeff, do we have anything happening with Lollygaggers?
Yes.
And what is it, Melissa?
Does she know? Things are kind of up in the air.
Okay, so on Thursday, no, I don't.
You don't know?
So on
Yes, you
Thursday,
do.
This is the first time I've
doing-
gotten you, Melissa. Every
I
other time I
know.
put you on the spot, you'd nail it.
Thursday,
She's
we are
stalling.
back to Werewolf.
Mhm.
Version 5. On Friday, we are taking a break before we start 40K, and Aaron is going to be, I should have thrown it over to you, but I didn't. Aaron is going to be GMing us through a E03, which just came out. And on Saturday, we are taking Saturday off. We are not going to play anything this Saturday. So if you didn't see our finale of One Ring, go to YouTube and watch the finale of One Ring. And then next Monday, we're going to be doing Fragged. And then next Tuesday, we're back here.
Hey, you got it.
Got it. Perfect.
Yeah, she knows what's going on. She's
Oh,
the
yeah.
boss of this whole operation. She just pretends not to be.
Mhm, mhm.
I was looking up big bug gifts for Discord and not at all paying attention to what was going on until I heard my name, and there I was.
Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
God.
Are we rating anyone, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and rate Happy Jack's RPG. They're playing Blade Runner, which a few of us here have played and enjoyed. So we're going to go ahead and rate them. Thank you for everyone knowing out, throw out some bits, all that good stuff. If you haven't followed the channel, think about doing so. That'd be great. And if you haven't checked us out over on the Adventures in Lollygagging YouTube page for all of our past games, think about going there and subscribing. That'd be great. But that's it. We good, Steven?
We're good. Final words of wisdom. If you want to find big bug gifts on Discord, just search Starship Troopers.
That's fair. I thought you were going to do some weird, creepy.
Yeah, I thought it was weird.
Weird.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my
Right.
goodness.
Have a good night, everybody.